do that?
I'd like to call this meeting of the Brooklyn City Council to order. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
That's okay.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mary Jo, would you please do the roll call?
Andy Selhertz.
Here.
Katie Gallagher.
Here.
Tony DeMarco.
Here.
Ron Van Kirk.
He is absent. Excused.
Kathy Pucci.
Here.
Mary Belbeer.
Here.
Kevin Tansky.
Here.
We first have minutes to approve from March 10th. May I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve. Second.
To approve the minutes, Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Mary Belbeer.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
We'll now proceed with our regular council meeting. Good evening, everybody. Tonight, we have a request for bids and 7 ordinances on the agenda, 5 of which are new. The service director is requesting council to approve an authorization to advertise for 2014 street repair program and the pavement of the Brooklyn Historical Society parking lot. Again, the streets that were included on the 2014 street program include Bentwood North and South, Rodone South, Outlook North and South. The first new ordinance, 2014-21, allows the mayor to amend his agreement with Zashin and Rich Law Firm to pay an additional expense of $25,000 for legal fees relating to union contract negotiations. Currently, the city owes Zashin and Rich about $9,000 for services that have already been rendered, and the administration is asking for additional money to pay for a binding conciliation with the firefighters union. The second new ordinance is 2014-22, which modifies the day camp fees for residents from the previous range of $215 to $250, now to $215 to $300 for the 6-week program. And for Parma Heights and corporate members from the previous range of $275 to $320, now to $275 to $370 for the 6-week program. Next, ordinance 2014-23 would authorize the police chief to purchase a digital voice recording system for the police department in the amount of $15,995. This unit records 911 phone calls and radio transmissions and will replace the 2005 unit that is approaching the end of its service life. The new unit would be purchased through the city's current vendor, Stephen Campbell and Associates, who the police chief finds responsive and reliable. Next, 2014-24 authorizes the police chief to move forward with purchasing 4 new vehicles for the police department through the state cooperative purchasing program. This includes 2 2014 Ford Interceptor utilities and 2 2015 Ford sedans, totaling $106,692, plus an additional $38,000 for ancillary equipment such as decals, graphics, and brackets, for a combined cost of $144,692. Next, ordinance 2014-25 would repeal a previous ordinance that limited the maximum hours for part-time employees. The previous ordinance was a proactive measure in response to the Affordable Health Care Act, but since its adoption, there's been some clarification on the act that allows for flexibility relating to part-time seasonal employees. At the end of tonight's council meeting, council will adjourn into executive session to discuss possible litigation and matters relating to personnel. When we reconvene, there will be no further business. At this time, we will hold the public session. If anyone in the audience has anything for the good and welfare of the city of Brooklyn, please step forward, state your name and your address, including city, and please keep your comments to 5 minutes or less, please. Yep.
My name is John Vishnowskis. I recently bought my childhood home in Parma, where my mom lived for 62 years until she passed away recently. Before that, I lived in Old Brooklyn for 10 years. And why I'm here is I spoke to the mayor a little bit earlier about All Faiths Pantry. I don't know if council and the city is aware, as I know now the mayor is, that Brooklyn has no hunger programs in it at all as far as food bank agencies. The mayor did mention that people have been going to the Parma Area Family Collaborative's produce distribution, which All Faiths Pantry helped the collaborative start. Likewise, we helped Parma Baptist start a hunger program. We've helped a few other organizations start hunger programs. That's what we're proud to do. The beginning of our program is we deliver groceries to homebound and seniors. It's people who can't physically go into other neighborhood hunger centers. And so we only have about a half a dozen clients in our premier program who live in the city of Brooklyn. So once a month, our volunteers call up those Brooklyn residents. They say, hi, it's John, Mary, and I are going to be delivering tomorrow. Will you be home to get your groceries? They greet us at the door, sign for their groceries, and that's as simple as the program is. Again, our program is for people who can't make it to other neighborhood hunger programs. We deliver to 80 square miles. So all the other emergency food programs, the Brookside Center, the Parma Hunger Center, all of our sister agencies, they refer clients to us because they're in their 80s, because they're in wheelchairs, because they're on oxygen. And that's our premier program. But now we've started these produce distributions. And I tried to find a home in Brooklyn, unsuccessfully, to have our produce distribution. So we did find a home just across the line at Gloria Day Church on Memphis. And we're inviting residents of the city of Brooklyn, as well as residents of the Cleveland neighborhoods of Old Brooklyn and Brooklyn Center. Since we're having it there in Old Brooklyn, we very well couldn't just say Brooklyn folks only. So anyone who comes who will declare that their income is beneath the allowable amount will leave with free produce. We're going to offer this the fourth Saturday of every month, 9 months of the year. And it's really directly in response to something I've been working on for a couple years now, getting food to Brooklyn, because it hasn't happened yet. And so I just wanted to make you aware of All Faiths Pantry. I appreciate your time. I'm going to leave you with brochures about the distribution that's going to happen every month. I'll leave you with my business cards likewise. So if you have any residents who are 60 years or older, or residents who are temporarily or permanently disabled such that their mobility wouldn't allow them to go to other emergency food programs, you can refer them to All Faiths Pantry. We'll deliver free groceries to them. We've delivered over 20,000 times since we started to individual households. We've delivered over 1/3 million pounds of non-perishables. With our new produce distribution, this year we're distributing 500,000 pounds. So we have a lot of community partners as collaborators. City of Parma, the council president, the council, the mayor have been very helpful in getting us established. We have so many community partners, and we're really happy now that you're aware of us to have the City of Brooklyn as a community partner. And again, I'm going to leave you all this information. I'd invite you to let your constituents know this produce is available. It's based on their income, and it's available to anybody who's willing to declare that their income is beneath that allowable amount. And likewise, if it's someone who's a resident of Brooklyn who's over 60 or who's in a wheelchair or on oxygen such that their mobility won't allow them to a regular program, additionally, we'll go to their house and bring them free groceries. So it's all, by the grace of the supporters of All Faiths Pantry, and I thank you very much for your attention. I'd be happy to answer any questions anyone would have.
Thank you.
My pleasure. So who should I?
Do you want to bring them up?
Great.
Oh, yeah.
So we're an independent nonprofit. So here are a couple of brochures for our fundraiser coming right up. Here are my business cards, which the accurate spelling of Wisnauskas, as well as my current email address.
Thank you.
Thank you all again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll put these out on the counter for anyone who would like to take one.
Carl Etheridge, 4137 Rabbit Run Drive. I begin tonight by thanking you, Mayor Balbier, Council President Gallagher, and Councilman And I apologize if I mess up your name, sir. Selshurts? Andy. So, thank you so much for attending and being a part of the Support Our Levy spaghetti dinner the other week. And I also want to thank Councilman Andy and Councilwoman Pucci for the raffle baskets that you donated to help raise funds for this important levy. For those council members that were there and that I was unable to greet, thank you for coming out as well and for attending. And to all the citizens, the moms, dads, grandparents, neighbors, and students, thank you for coming and showing your support as well. Tonight I'm asking you, the City Council, I'm asking that you take off the table the levy support resolution that you tabled over a month ago and show your support for the renewal levy that will be on the ballot this May. It is important that our citizens see that you believe in our children getting a strong education. Michael Greenstone, who is the director of the Hamilton Project of the Brookings Institution and the 3M professor of environmental economics at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, states in his commentary on November 7th, 2012, the importance of education in economics view. He states a strong education system has been the backbone of the American dream, providing each generation with the opportunity to do better than the previous. Indeed, our country was built on improvements in education. Local, state, and federal policymakers must pursue opportunities to improve student achievement with an almost single-minded focus. A failure to do so will leave too many Americans behind in an increasingly competitive global market. Let us not leave our kids behind. There are many parents and citizens asking for us to give them, our children, every opportunity to get a great education and to be prepared for to become productive members of the global economy. Vote yes on issue 2 on May 6th. Thank you.
Bonnie Barczyk, 4831 Ridge Road. I would first like to thank the council members, Councilmember Mary Balbier, Councilman Andy Selhertz, Councilwoman Katie Gallagher, and Councilwoman Kathy Pucci for their generous baskets that they donated for the spaghetti dinner, and also for the many council people who came and attended it. Thank you so much for coming. I also would like to thank the citizens. Over 200 people came out to make our spaghetti dinner a success and support our schools. And I would like to remind everybody that on May 6th, we have a renewal on the ballot that is no new money, but is crucial to the future of for our students, our schools, and this community. So please vote yes on May 6th to issue 2, and thank you again for all of your support. It's greatly appreciated.
Good evening. My name is Grant Goodrich, work address of 812 Huron Road, Cleveland, Ohio. Council President, Mayor Balbier, members of council, and citizens of Brooklyn, Ohio, good evening. Like I said, my name is Grant Goodrich. I work for the Campaign to Keep Cleveland Strong. This is the campaign asking for a yes vote on issue 7 to renew the excise tax on alcohol and cigarettes for our downtown Cleveland sports facilities. As I mentioned, this is issue 7. It will be on the ballot this May 6th for early voting. I know some of you are already way ahead of the game and it's already out there. Again, issue 7. I want to just take a moment, and I'm thankful for your time tonight to talk about briefly what is this issue, why is it important now, and why is it important for Brooklyn, Ohio. Issue 7 is a renewal of a small excise tax on alcohol and cigarettes that was first approved by Cuyahoga County voters in 1990 and was extended in 1995. When I say it's a small excise tax, it's not a percentage tax, it's a stated or set amount by quantity or by volume. So it's 4.5 cents per pack of cigarettes, it's 1.5 cents on a 12-ounce beer, it's 1 cent on a glass of wine, it's similar prices on cider and hard alcohol. And since 1990, those funds have been used for the construction of our 3 professional sports facilities, Progressive Field and Quicken Loans Arena at the Gateway Complex. And in 1995, the extension was for construction costs of First Energy Stadium, also known as Cleveland Browns Stadium. This is on the ballot now as this tax is due to expire next September 2015. These funds have been used so far for construction. Cuyahoga County has placed it on the ballot asking that these funds also be used to conduct maintenance repairs on these three facilities as they're each hitting that approximately 20-year point in their lifetime of being around as public buildings. It's very important to note these are publicly owned buildings. First Energy is owned by the City of Cleveland, and the Gateway Complex is jointly owned by the City of Cleveland and Cuyahoga County. The city and the county have leases with the professional sports teams to operate these facilities, and these leases clearly state that the obligation for capital repairs and maintenance to these facilities is the responsibility of the county and the city. Capital repairs and maintenance is defined as those items that are more than $500,000. They vary lease to lease, but roughly that's approximately what they are. Again, with these facilities reaching that 20-year point in their lifespan, we are expecting that major repairs will be required. Some items that have been talked about are replacements of HVAC and cooling systems, replacement of a roof on Quicken Loans Arena, replacement of sections of concrete. Again, with the winter, just like the winter we had this year, the freezing and thawing puts a lot of damage on these large concrete, steel, plastic, aluminum structures that have weathered Cleveland winters for the last 20 years. So the city and the county recognize that major repairs will be coming up over the next 20 years. They've placed this ballot renewal on the ballot for a 20-year renewal. Again, it's not a new tax, it's a strict renewal, and the funds that will be generated by renewal and approval of Issue 7 will be to help the county and the city meet their requirements. Why is this important to Brooklyn? Several reasons. First of all, these three facilities and the surrounding businesses do employ residents of Brooklyn, Ohio. The sporting events, the concerts, Disney on Ice, the approximately 300 events that take place at these three facilities each year bring in lots of visitors to the county. They spend money, hotels, restaurants, bars, and other venues across the county. That money is important both for the city and for the county. Obviously, part of it is image. Right now, Cleveland's in the running to get the 2016 Republican National Convention. We recently held the senior games here. This summer, we'll be holding the gay games. These are large events that attract people from around the country and around the world. They put Cleveland on the map. They bring attention to our county. People come to Cleveland, they learn about the greater area, and there's a greater gain for everyone involved. And finally, and most importantly, if the tax is not renewed, the city and the county are still responsible for maintaining these structures and will need to find the funds elsewhere. And so if these funds have to come out of the county's general fund, that will mean a loss of resources for residents within Brooklyn. Again, this is Issue 7. It will be on the spring ballot. I'm asking for your vote and your support of this issue. And again, I'm very grateful for your time tonight. I'd be happy to answer questions if anyone has some.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have anything for the good and welfare of the city of Brooklyn? Okay, we will now proceed. The mayor pointed out that I made a mistake, and I stated that the Zashner Ridge attorney fees were $25,000. They had actually $20,000, so I apologize for the mistake. We'll now move on to reports of committees, commissions, and boards. First up is Finance Committee, Chair Councilwoman Pucci.
Thank you. Good evening. The Finance Committee met earlier this evening at 6:30 and recommended approving all new legislation that's on our agenda this evening. We had a very preliminary discussion with the Finance Director about some potential upgrades we may need to our financial software system. And that completes my Finance Committee report. I'll do my Economic Development Committee report right now also. The committee will meet this Wednesday, April 16th at 9:30 a.m. in the conference room at City Hall. And that completes my report.
Next up, Recreation Board, Mr. Tansky.
Thank you. Next Recreation Board meeting will be held on April 21st at 7 p.m. in the Mayor's Court. That concludes my report.
Thank you. School Board Liaison, Mr. Selhertz.
Thank you. Work session was held by the school board on April 1st in the board office. The contract for work to be performed on the football stadium press box was approved. As you heard, the second annual Support Our Schools Levy Spaghetti Dinner was held on Saturday, April 5th, with over, as Bonnie mentioned, approximately a little bit over 200 people attending the event. The Board of Education will hold its regular monthly meeting Tuesday, tomorrow, April 15th, 2014, in room 173 of the high school at 6 p.m. Public is invited to attend. The regular meeting in May is tentatively scheduled to be on May 20th, 2014. There will be a blood drive this week at the high school on Wednesday, April 16th from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Walk-ins are welcome, but for faster service, please call ahead. You can call 485-8100, extension 8503. For the small cost of $5 per ticket, you can have the chance to winning a fabulous trip to sunny Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. One lucky winner will be enjoying a relaxing week of sunning at poolside or working the kinks out in the hot tub or sauna. Tickets are available now. You can purchase tickets from Laura Baker at the board office or from Laura Paul at Brookridge. Tickets will be sold until the day of the drawing, which will be held on April 28th at the Support Our Schools Levy Parade. The Myrtle Beach raffle is your choice of 1 week in Myrtle Beach for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo that sleeps 6 with an indoor-outdoor pool, hot tub, and a spa. To look additional information up, you can look at www.danandjill.us. Just mentioned April 28th, 2014, there will be a Support Our Schools Levy Parade. Details to follow shortly. Remember that the upcoming renewal levy is coming up on the May 6th election. It's issue number 2. Brooklyn City Schools will be celebrating National Bike Month on Saturday, May 10th, 2014, with a bike rodeo and touch-a-truck. The event will be held from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at Ridge Park Square. The event is being organized by Brooklyn City Schools, the Brooklyn Police Department, Brooklyn City Council, ODOT, Cuyahoga Board of Health, Ridge Park Square, and the Brooklyn Fire Department. Touch-a-Truck is a unique and wonderful community event. This is the first year for a Brooklyn Touch-a-Truck. This next excellent opportunity to interact with hundreds of families in a fun and educational environment to learn bike safety and how to share roadways. This event is run by volunteers who have secured trucks, diggers, police and fire vehicles, and much more that set the stage for fun. For additional information, contact Haley Torek at haley.torek, T-O-E-R-E-K, at brooklyn.k12.oh.us or by calling 216-485-8176. The bicycle rodeo includes a safety inspection, a series of skill stations directly related to everyday bicycling situations. If possible, have your child bring their bicycle and helmet. There is no charge for this event. Everyone will have a chance to win a bicycle and other great giveaways. There will be a limited amount of vouchers for boots and shoes to be given to children who walk or bike to school. For more information, please visit their website at www.getmovingbrooklyn.org. And also received an email late this afternoon from Rick Sias, the project manager, and he mentioned, hello, Andy. It looks like we'll be videotaping the adjacent properties and roadways this Wednesday, 4/16. Our demolition contractor plans on mobilizing in this week, so there'll be a little activity in the neighborhood. So the project for the schools is starting to move in motion. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Board of Zoning, Building Commissioner Ed Fitzgerald.
Thank you, President Gallagher. The City of Brooklyn Board of Zoning Code of Appeals will meet this Thursday, April 17, 2014 at 6 p.m. to hear a request from B Next Awning and Graphics Incorporated for several variances to install a pole sign located at 4295 Tiedemann Road, which is the Prime Station gas station, which is going to become a Sunoco gas station. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you. The Domestic Violence Committee will meet this Wednesday, April 16th at 7 p.m. in the Brooklyn Senior Center. The Planning Commission met last Thursday, April 3rd at 6 p.m. and heard a request from Rough Neon and Lighting Maintenance to place additional illuminated sign panel on the existing freestanding multiple sign panel for Ridge Park Square. Approved a request, and that was approved. Approved a request from B Next Awning and Graphics to place a new illuminated pole sign and canopy sign located at 4295 Tiedemann Road for business identification of Santa Meyer Oil Company. This was, actually, was this deferred?
That was deferred.
Okay, I'm sorry. This was deferred to the Board of Zoning. And passed a request from TDA Architecture for 107,000 square foot new building construction of the middle school and elementary school located at 9200 Bidoff Road. As you recall previously, the Planning Commission requested a traffic study which was completed by the school, and additionally a fence around the detention basin. It was agreed upon the Planning Commission that we'd move forward with this, but we did not require a fence. Put a condition on it if it becomes necessary after watching the progression of the detention basin. If a fence becomes necessary, the school agreed to add it. And now we will move on to reports from council. First up, Andy Selhertz.
Thank you. While at the last council meeting was being held on March 24th, I had, I believe, a resident email me with a complaint about how a recycling container was left on their tree lawn after being emptied. I did pass on the information to Mr. Verba, but also took the complaint with some reservation. The email had no name, no phone, no address. Complaints are taken seriously since this is our town and things should be maintained at a certain standard and then some, but an anonymous complaint just has a little less merit to it. I did receive the following week 2 more complaints about the condition of some residential streets. In both cases, I had names, addresses, and phone numbers. In both cases, I went out to talk to the residents, listen to their issues, and in the case of one situation, I took pictures of the street. If they wish to remain anonymous after I talk to them, I will honor their wishes. In regards to residential streets, City Council at the last meeting approved a budget for this year, which included an increase for streets. I have prepared a rough draft and forwarded it first to the rest of the Public Works Committee and then today to the rest of Council, outlining for the next 4 or 5 years streets that needed to be replaced based on observations provided by the engineer outsourced by our city. It is only a rough draft and not cast in stone or concrete, but it also maintains this year's level and linear footage being replaced for the next several years. On Saturday, March 29th, 2014, Councilwoman Mary Bellbeer and I attended a newly elected council seminar and agenda that was held in Independence by the Ohio Municipal League. Subjects that were covered included home rule and local control, council powers and procedures, bidding, purchasing, and contracting, financing municipal operations, liabilities of municipalities and municipal officers, open meetings, and public records. There was also a sustainability committee meeting that was headed by Kevin Tansky that was held since the last council meeting. This fits with what Councilwoman Balbier and I noticed and are trying to work on at the service garage to get better lighting. As a pilot project, I would like to get the lighting on the outside of the service garage replaced since it currently is about non-existent with new LED lighting. Although it will cost more up front, the 6 or 7 fixtures will only use about 20 to 25% of the electricity currently used, and since they have no electronic ballasts or do not have light bulbs, there is no maintenance over their approximate 25 years, so the long-term cost is less. As for the school levy, personally I'm in favor of the renewal levy. I know that's been an issue that's been going around from the various residents and everything else. I voted for the levy even back in 2009 when you were trying to get the building set up between Brookridge and Rodone. After my first meeting, I had the opportunity to meet with Mr. Hopkins. I expressed that I really wish that it would have happened between Brookridge and Rodone. We all in life do not get all our wishes, otherwise it'd just be a happy place for all of us. But we've got to make the best of what we can. The thing at Brookridge and now the project at the high school itself, it's going to be an an impression. It's going to be a footprint for the next 40, 50 years. We got to make it right. I would wish that the residents do vote in favor of this. It is a renewal levy, and that's my own personal comments on that. The last comment I have is to all those in attendance and those that are watching, I hope that you and your families have a peaceful and joyous Easter holiday. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Mr. DeMarco.
Just real quick, last Thursday, there was a meeting here at City Hall for several residents, hosted by our Economic Development Director, to get some input finally from residents on positive and negatives going on in the city, and maybe some suggestions on what we can do better. So I want to thank those residents that came out and took time out of their schedule to participate in helping us better understand where we're falling short, and also where we're delivering service as well. Many other residents will be receiving invitations to upcoming meetings. So I would ask that if you have time and the inclination to help your city, or just provide a little bit of maybe some ideas that we wouldn't be aware of, I would ask that you participate in those meetings, because we need your input. It's getting repetitive, but I would ask every resident to, again, consider their financial situation, the value of our public schools to the city, and support the renewal levy. I've said that several times. I've been very supportive of our schools. Mrs. Walker and the prior board and the current board have embarked on a strategy, and they have a plan. They need the funds to try and execute the plan that they've created, and I hope the residents give them the opportunity to do that. And finally, I would like to wish all of the residents and our employees a happy Easter, and that's all I have.
Thank you. Mrs. Pucci.
Thank you. I'm on the Safe Routes to School Committee, and we had two meetings since our last council meeting. Friday, April 4th at 7:30 a.m. at Brookridge, and Thursday, April 10th at 9 a.m. at Brookridge. And Mr. Selhertz actually gave most of my report. I guess I can just add that we really appreciate Ridge Park Square's willingness to allow us to use their space. Traditionally, we hold this event on school property over by the high school, and of course, because of the construction going on, we had to find an alternate location, and Ridge Park Square really stepped up, and they're helping us out. The other thing I'll just add, National Bike Month encourages a nationwide bike-focused, events. They raise awareness of the need to create safer routes for bicycling and walking, and emphasize the importance of issues such as increasing physical activity among children, pedestrian safety, reducing traffic congestion, and concern for the environment. This promotes specifically biking to school. We have a Walk to School month, which is always held in October. I'm also going to pass this information along to Jill for the website, and also to Maria if we could get this up on the sign. This is pre-K through 8th grade for all students who attend a school in the city of Brooklyn. It's not just limited to the Brooklyn City Schools. We open this up to all students. I too support the school renewal, which is not an increase. I recognize that this money is critical to the financial stability of our school system, and I encourage other residents to support it as well. Early voting has started. It began on April 1st. If you want to vote by mail, please send in an application. I know that there's been some back and forth between the county and the state, and the county made a move last week to send applications to people. I wouldn't wait. We have applications available at City Hall and the library and our rec center. Mr. Fitzgerald, just a quick comment. I know that Prime Station is coming before the Board of Zoning Appeals, and do they have plans to fix that up, because it looks pretty shabby?
Yeah, that's going to be part of the, when they come back to the Planning Commission.
Okay, so we're gonna, whatever variance we grant, can we make it contingent that they're gonna bring everything up to, you know?
They were deferred by the Planning Commission to go in front of the zoning board for the
Okay.
variance for the sign.
Okay.
But they at the meeting, the request was, what are you going to do with the building?
Okay,
And they were supposed to come back to the Planning Commission with some drawings of what they're going to do to the building.
okay. All right, thank you very much. And finally, I would just like to wish all of our employees and all the residents and their families a very happy Easter. That completes my report.
Thank you. Mrs. Belbier.
Thank you, Ms. Gallagher. Last Thursday, I attended a seminar sponsored by the Northeast Ohio City Council Association. The guest speaker was a supervisor with the Ohio Department of Natural Resources. The topic was the heavy deer population in Northeast Ohio and the problems that they cause, which are basically safety issues and plant destruction. It seems to be a problem with little solution, and one that is very difficult to make go away. But anyone who has problems with deer eating through their property or having any kind of trouble, they are encouraged to call the Division of Wildlife. The gentleman's name is Jeff Westerfeld at 330-644-2293. He will be more than happy to give you any helpful hints concerning your property and your particular situation that if you may have with the deer. I too went to the spaghetti dinner that the school sponsored, and it was a fabulous turnout. It was so nice to see all these kids helping out, cleaning up dishes and serving, and of course I saw my fellow councilperson Andy with gloves on distributing bread and so forth and so on, and there were wonderful baskets. Very, very nice to see. I was so proud to be there. I'd like to also, have a general reminder that to vote for the school levy, it is important. We need to keep in mind that it is a renewal levy. If we want to be a top-notch city, we need to have a top-notch school system. So please, exercise your vote on this. I'd also like to say, I do believe in the bottom of my heart that the administration one day will turn around and make this school system a blue ribbon school system. That's what I'm waiting for. I would love to see that. Okay. I'd also like to congratulate Buffalo Wild Wings. They're located where the old Max and Irma location is. It's a fabulous location right there. They have 48 televisions, all kinds of fabulous wings. You can pick your kind. It's just wonderful. It's fun to go there and relax. And today is their official grand opening. I even heard that the mayor cooked up the first batch of wings back there. So, and if that tells you anything, so. But anyways, and I'd also like to welcome Ashley Furniture coming into our city. That's always nice. The city is on the upswing. And last, with this gentleman that just came, which I thought was wonderful, this Mr. Visnuskas with the pantry. Lots of times we don't realize there is a need out there, and people don't like to say it. They don't like to, feel that people are looking down on them. But I think this is a wonderful thing, and maybe we couldn't somehow work with the city and get something here going. But if anybody is in a need, or ever comes that they need some sort of help, they can always go to St. Augustine's Church, which is located in the Tremont area on West 14th Street. If anyone is in need for meals or any kind of donations of any kind, always, keep that in mind. So, and lastly, I'd like to wish everyone a joyous Easter holiday. This is such a joyous time of year. I know, being ethnic, we're getting all prepared and making special things. We do special things at our church, and I know so many of you are doing them. So I wish you a happy, happy Easter, Brooklyn. Thank you, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. Mr. Tansky.
Thank you. Sustainability Committee meeting was held on April 4th at 10 a.m. Discussed were grants for wind and solar power. However, nothing has come across this year on these issues. Another topic of discussion was on having more efficient lighting in the city garage and possible rebates or grants. Also discussed was a 5-year plan on maintaining or possibly replacing the heating and cooling systems in our city buildings. Contract negotiations. Last contract negotiations with the unions in 2010, the city spent nearly $60,000. In 2013, negotiation expenditures hit a new record high, nearly $73,000. We now have Ordinance 2014-21 authorizing the mayor to amend and expand an agreement with Zashin and Rich for another $20,000. bringing the grand total to $93,000. Key point is, what article in any of these union contracts is the city going to benefit to save major tax dollars for our residents for the amount that was spent on attorney fees? What is the next round of negotiations going to cost when the contracts are up? These bargaining units have small memberships, and the city needs to take negotiations in our own hands and stop subcontracting it out, thus saving our city thousands of tax dollars with maybe even better results. I will not be supporting ordinance 2014-21, and I wish everybody in our city surrounding, to have a very happy Easter. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Tansky. On March 27th, I had the privilege of moderating the Young Professionals Focus Group for the Marketing Steering Committee. I cannot express how excited I was after I finished up this meeting about the possibilities for Brooklyn. This group of young professionals invested in Brooklyn over the last few years by purchasing homes here, and they want to stay. There were some terrific ideas for economic development which they believe would revitalize Brooklyn. When I asked about service quality in our city, I was pleasantly surprised to hear mostly positives. Some people commented that their friends always say to them how lucky they are to have a city service department that plows their sidewalks, because this doesn't happen in Broadview or Brecksville where they live. Another surprise, and I think sometimes my generation gets a bad rap, this group wanted to see the city preserve and bring back more senior services if they could. Lastly, many of the young professionals believe the new businesses in Brooklyn and the new school construction were positive changes for right now, and they hoped our city would continue working towards making Brooklyn a place with unique stores and restaurants, upgrade the parks, and create a more walkable community so that everybody can enjoy the city by bike or foot. On April 5th, I attended the spaghetti dinner, as everybody mentioned. It was a really nice event, and I thank you for inviting me. This past Saturday, my husband and my daughter Quinn and I attended the city's Easter egg hunt. It was a beautiful day, and the children were running everywhere. It was Quinn's first Easter egg hunt, and although she still needs some help walking, she was managed to snatch up a few Easter eggs. Thank you to our recreation manager, Maria McGinty, and the recreation employees for their fantastic work on this event. And now that Mrs. Balbier brought up the deer, I actually have a question that maybe our service director could answer. Coyotes in our city. It's actually become a concern for me just thinking about my little girls in the backyard with the coyotes possibly coming snatching her. I know I'm always out there with her, but I saw 2 coyotes chasing deers in my backyard, and it kind of freaked me out. So do we have any kind of policy with coyotes?
I will defer that question to the police chief.
At this time, what we're doing is we're encouraging residents to call us. We're keeping track of where they're being sighted or being seen, and if we see them enough.
I mean, they're pretty big too, so they're eating.
In the past, we've set up traps at the service garage. I've spoke to Mrs. Pucci about this. I think in all the years that we've set the traps, I think we caught 1 coyote. So how effective they are, we don't know. But in speaking with our ACO, our animal control officer, she encourages you to stand your ground, wave your arms, scream, and yell. Coyotes will not attack anything that's bigger than them. So don't leave Quinn out in the backyard by herself. I think you'll be all right.
Okay. Next up is the mayor's report.
Excuse me, may I be recognized?
Yeah, sure.
I just wanted to add to that I did go in and I talked with the chief because of some complaints that I received. And I think it's very important that if you do see one, to please call the non-emergency number, because they're definitely increasing. And I know that in the past, we haven't really caught very many, but the population of coyotes is increasing. And one of the things I mentioned to the chief, I know that they say that if you make a lot of noise, they won't come near you. But one of the residents who complained to me specifically said that they're getting a lot more bolder and that they're not running away. So please, if you see one in the city, call the non-emergency number for the police department so that, we can keep track of them and, possibly take some action. Thanks.
Mayor?
Yes. The coyotes are in every single county in the state of Ohio now. That's how they're growing. I saw one in Independence when it ran across the road, it was so big, it looked like a small pony to me, but they're in every county. I don't know what the answer is, how to get rid of them, but we'll try. Spring is here, even though it's supposed to snow tomorrow. We keep getting a lot of calls on the potholes, and now the service department's able to use the hot patch, which is a lot more effective than the cold patch. The cold patch, when you put that in there during the winter, the first time the snowplow comes by, it pops it back out, but the hot patch should last a little longer. And I get a lot of calls from people. When one woman called me up screaming about the pothole, and when she got done, I said, "Where do you live?" And she lived on State Road. So I get a lot of calls from Old Brooklyn all the time. Once a week, we get a call from Brooklyn, New York. So we won't go that far, but we'll take care of our city. April 13th through the 19th is designated as National Public Safety Telecommunications Week, and mayors are asked to publicly honor their emergency dispatchers who work 24 hours a day answering thousands of calls for help every day. So I just like to bring notice to our dispatchers. I've been down there when there's a snowstorm or a big windstorm that went by, and it gets kind of hectic in there, and they all do an excellent job. The Cuyahoga County Board of Health wants cities to advise their residents on mosquitoes. So I'm going to give you some of the suggestions they make. It says, clean your gutters often to keep them flowing. Remove or properly store children's toys that can collect water. Place the lids on your garbage cans to keep the rain out. Maintain your ornamental pond or bird bath. Cover your rain barrel openings with screening. Store wheelbarrows upside down or on end. Fill in the low spots in your yard. Maintain your pool and keep the stagnant water off the cover when not in use. Remove containers that may hold water, like buckets, tires, and so forth, from behind garages and sheds. Clean out any roadside or drainage ditches so the water can flow properly. Now, we've had a lot of rain, so I'm sure we're going to have a lot of mosquitoes this year. I also received the annual report from the Department of Public Works for the city of Brooklyn. They high-pressured cleaned 38,425 feet of pipe. They televised 59,496 feet of pipe. The report's kind of lengthy, and everything's described in footage, and I left it out here at the desk, and anybody can look at it during business hours. Our building department turned in their first quarter report from the building department, and things are moving right along just like they ended in 2013. And they're up 120, they have 124 permits already this year, and construction costs will be over $2 million in the first quarter. The revenue's up $35,000. Construction cost is $1,276,000. They were able to do 57 residential inspections so far, and commercial inspections were 105. So they had a very productive first quarter. Ashley Furniture is going to be opening up on May 1st. They've asked me to cut the ribbon there. And like was mentioned, the Buffalo Wild Wings today was their opening for the public. And as far as the school levy goes, my wife and I already voted for it, and I'd like everybody to vote for it. The way I look at the levy is that if you have a good school system, these vacant houses we have in Brooklyn would disappear, because most people, not most, but a lot of people move to a city because of the school. So if you have a good school, they'll come here. We have a lot of houses that are empty. They'll be filling up quickly, so I hope everybody votes for it. And I also wish everybody a happy Easter. Thank you.
Move on to Director's Report. Finance Director Enovich.
Thank you, Council President Gallagher. As of today, the general fund revenues year-to-date are $5,675,706.47, and our general fund expenses for the same period are $4,617,488.76. So our revenues exceeded our expenditures by about $1 million. Our revenues are ahead of projection by about 10%, and our expenses are right on target. We would expect that this will equal out over the year as we begin to catch up with some of our large expenditures. Our unencumbered general fund balance as of today is $8,490,858.31, and total cash balance in the bank is $22,744,000. $697,230.40. And that concludes my report.
Director John Verba, Service Department.
Thank you, Council President. The Service Department would like to inform the residents that you must call the service garage for a special pickup at 216-635-4232. Remember, if it does not fit in your container, then you must arrange for a special pickup for Friday. You cannot leave your extra rubbish on the tree lawn until Friday. With the help of the police department, we'll be cracking down on residents who place their rubbish on the tree lawn before 5 p.m. prior to their scheduled pickup date. For instance, last Friday, we had 69 pickups that were scheduled. While the guys were on the route, there was another 79 extra pickups that we were not aware of. Therefore, we had to send out another truck. So you must call ahead of time to arrange for a special pickup. Do not assume that we are just driving out around the city looking for extra stuff on the tree lawn. Please call ahead and arrange for a special pickup. The compost program has started. Just a reminder that you must place your compost in a brown bag or a garbage can. If it is in a plastic bag, it will be left behind. Again, compost is picked up the same day as your regular rubbish and recycling. We have also had many calls on when the street sweeper will be out. Our backup Pelican sweeper is down and won't be ready for at least another week. We are anxiously awaiting the arrival of our new VACOL. We hope to be back out sweeping the streets within 2 weeks, if not sooner. And that's all I have.
Next, we'll move on to requests. I need a motion to advertise for bids for the 2014 street repair program and historical society lot.
Move to authorize for bids.
Second.
To advertise for bids, Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Mary Belbeer.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Next, we'll move on to ordinances, 2014-15, amending Section 4 of Ordinance 2010-26 entitled Establish General Admission Rates at the John M. Coyne Recreation Center and Auditorium. This is actually on third reading, but we're going to suspend the rules tonight, so it's effective immediately.
I move to suspend the rules.
Second.
To suspend the rules, Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Mary Belbeer.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Move to adopt.
Second.
To adopt, Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Mary Belbeer.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Ordinance 2014-17, amending Section 541-15, deposit of snow of Chapter 541, property offenses of the Brooklyn Codified Ordinances.
Move to adopt as amended.
Second.
To adopt, as amended, Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Mary Belbeer.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Ordinance 2014-21, authorizing the mayor to amend and expand an agreement with Zashin and Rich LPA to provide and conduct additional labor negotiations on behalf of the city of Brooklyn.
Introduced by all, suspend the rules.
Second.
May I be recognized?
Yes.
I just want to say that we do not have a full-time law director, so therefore, for negotiations, we would be paying extra anyways. And my personal opinion is that I would rather expend the funds on someone who is an expert in the field, who is representing the interests of the city. Thank you.
To suspend the rules, Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Mary Belbeer.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
No.
To adopt, Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Abstain.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Mary Belbeer.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
No.
Or it's on first reading. It's on first reading.
Okay, ordinance 2014-22, amending section 1 of ordinance 2013-35, establishing the registration fee for the day camp program within the recreation department.
Introduced by all, suspend the rules.
Second.
To suspend the rules, Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Mary Belbeer.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
To adopt, Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Mary Belbeer.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Excuse me, can I just ask for clarification on 2014-21, what the vote was?
We had an abstention and a no.
Right.
But it's still.
We didn't suspend
but-
the rules.
But we had 5 to suspend
We
the
did- I'm
rules.
sorry, did we?
So that passed. Okay, I
I'm
just
sorry,
wanted
I
a
apologize.
clarification.
I didn't count.
Right. Right. I just wanted to clarify that.
I'm sorry.
That's
I
okay.
screwed up my X's and my checks.
51040.
You're not allowed to make mistakes, Mary Jane. Ordinance 2014. Are you ready? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Ordinance 2014-23, authorizing the purchase of a digital voice recording system for the use of the Brooklyn Police Department in the amount of $15,995 through state contract.
Introduce by all, suspend the rules.
Second.
To suspend the rules, Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Mary Belbeer.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
To adopt, Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Mary Belbeer.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Ordinance 2014-24, authorizing the purchase of 4 vehicles and ancillary equipment for the use by the Brooklyn Police Department.
Introduce by all, suspend the rules.
Second.
To suspend the rules, Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Mary Belbeer.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
To adopt, Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Mary Belbeer.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
Ordinance 2014-25 to repeal Ordinance 2013-31 entitled "To Provide for the Policy Governing the Maximum Hours Worked for Part-Time Employees for the City of Brooklyn."
Introduce by all, suspend the rules.
Second.
To suspend the rules, Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Mary Belbeer.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
To adopt, Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Mary Belbeer.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
Yes.
I just want to say, we've made a concerted effort to make sure that we weren't suspending the rules by emergency, and tonight there was a lot. Sometimes we can't avoid it. There are things that need to be passed, but we do try to go through 3 readings for everything, and tonight was an exception to that. And all of the directors are trying to make sure that they're providing information early as possible. And before council adjourns to executive session, I just want to make sure none of the directors or anybody on council have anything they'd like to say. Okay, as a reminder, when we reconvene, there'll be no action taken. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn to executive session relating to personnel matters, and present will be the mayor, Mr. Verba, and Mr. Clausen.
And also for the potential sale of land, are we going
Do
to?
you want to add that?
Yes.
Okay, and for the potential sale of public land. Would you like,
With the mayor, the law director, and the finance director.
okay. Need a motion?
So moved.
Second.
To adjourn to executive session, Andy Selhertz.
Yes.
Katie Gallagher.
Yes.
Tony DeMarco.
Yes.
Kathy Pucci.
Yes.
Mary Belbeer.
Yes.
Kevin Tansky.
I hope everyone has a happy Easter.